This is how to get AgGrid working inside a React project. Let's start with a new React project, npx create React app, and we'll call it hello. Now let's go into the folder, and we'll npm install AgGrid community and AgGrid React. AgGrid community is the core part of AgGrid, and AgGrid React is the React rendering engine. Now let's start the project. Now we'll open the project up in our IDE and clear out all of this stuff that we don't need. Now let's bring in the AgGrid React component. And we'll place it then inside our template. Now let's bind some column data and row data. The column data here is column definitions. Each object put in here will define one column. I'm going to define 3 columns: make, model, and price. The columns have appeared on the right here, but they look a bit crap because we haven't imported the grid CSS. The CSS that we need is inside the dist styles folder of AgGrid community. All of these here are different themes, so I'm going to pick the AG theme Alpine. So these are the 2 CSS files that we'll use. The first one is the structural part of AgGrid. This is needed for every instance of AgGrid that you have. The second part is optional. This is the theme. You can pick from one of the themes that we provide, or you can create your own theme. And we'll put that in here as the class name. And now we'll add some dimensions to our grid, a width and a height. So this here is our grid. We can see the columns make, model, and price, but there's no rows to show. That's because our row data is empty. So let's go ahead and put some row data in. Each entry in this array will represent one piece of data in our grid. The columns here will be looking for fields, make, model, and price. So let's put in make, model, and price. And you can see here one row has appeared. Now let's put in a bunch of rows. I'm going to cheat a bit and just use my clipboard. And here we go, 3 rows. And that's it. That's a simple grid working in React. Now this grid does work, but let's be good citizens and use state to represent the data that we bound. I'll import the useState hook. And use it for the row data and the column defs. Now if this application wanted to update row data or update columns, it would use the set row data or set column defs hooks. So let's do that now. Let's put in some logic to load data from a server. Now I've got some code on my clipboard. This code uses a React effect. Let's import that. It will load data from this URL. It will turn the string into a JSON object and then set the data using set row data, which is the hook that I'd find up here. Because I'm loading the data from the server, I don't need to provide data here. And there we go. The grid has now got lots of rows of data. Now these column defs have only used the field attribute. There's lots of attributes that you can use. I'm going to show you 2 more here. I'll put in sortable, true, and filter, true. Now we just put this on the make column, so we'll see here now that when we click on make, we can sort by make, and when we click on the menu, we can filter by make as well. But not on these other columns because I've only configured it for the make column. I could just add these 2 attributes to the columns like this, but repetition isn't good, so instead I'm going to define a default call def. So the default call def is defined here. It's bound as a grid property down here, and in it I specify sortable and filter. That means that sortable and filter will be applied across all 3 columns, meaning that each of the columns here can be sorted or filtered. I mentioned there's lots of different attributes you can put onto the columns. There's also lots of different attributes you can put onto the grid component itself. I'm going to show you 2 here. I'm going to show you animate rows and row selection. So we'll put them in here. Animate rows will have the rows slide into position as you're sorting, and row selection allows me to click on rows and have them selectable, or select multiple rows because I chose multiple selection as my option here. For a full list of grid properties and how to use them, check the documentation. The grid also allows you to listen to multiple events. I'm going to put some code in to listen to an on-cell clicked event. So here I use the React use callback hook to create my listener function, and I then bound it to the on-cell clicked attribute on my grid. Then on the right hand side, if I bring up my console, you can see as I click different cells, the event is getting printed to the console, just like I asked it to do in my listener function. Now let's close down the console here, and I'm going to talk about the last thing I want to mention in this video, which is using the Grids API. To get to the API, I'm going to use a React reference. And I'm going to put a button in that will call the API every time it's clicked. So here is our listener. It's using the use callback React hook. It uses the grid ref, which is hooked up down here. And on the grid ref, it uses the Grids API, and it calls deselect all. And that does what you'd probably expect when I've got a bunch of rows selected and hit push me, the rows get deselected. And that's it for this video. We created a simple grid, gave it columns and rows. We configured some of the columns with column properties. We also used some of the grid properties. We also listened to some grid events, and we used the Grid API. This is the basics of how to use a Grid in React. Continue watching these videos to learn some of the more advanced features.